question was asked in the study. They said, okay, let's say the son goes out a second time, a third time. Would the father welcome him back every single time? And I said to them, no, or at least my dad wouldn't. I look back at that move in college, and everything fell together so perfectly. So to give you a summary, I applied to Bethel 2 months before the class started. I visited Bethel 2 weeks before the class started. I was accepted to go to Bethel 1 week before classes started, and then I'm jumping in my car and coming up here. And it's worth noting, I didn't know where I was going to live. The guy that I lived with, his name was Dave Janica, he actually had 3 different roommates that he was supposed to live with. They all canceled in that week's time before I showed up, and I had a place to live. And I was like, okay, God, like, that's pretty cool. And then I'm challenged in another way. I had a friend that said, I agree with everything Paul has to say except for one thing, and this will make sense in a moment. He said that Paul says he's the foremost, the worst of all sinners. And he said that he made a mistake, that I'm the worst of all sinners. And I was like, he's got a point in terms of all sin is created equal. So we all have fallen short. We all are enemies of God. But would die for me. There's a song by Seventh Day Slumber that says, it must be some mistake that you would love a man like me. And what do you benefit if you gain the whole world but lose your own soul? Is anything worth more than your soul? For the Son of Man will come with his angels in the glory of his Father and will judge all people according to their deeds. When we come to what we might call the Jesus way or the way of Jesus, first the Christians, they weren't named Christians. They were called people of the way, that they followed the way of Jesus. And especially in today's polarizing political arena, we have, 2 completely black and white different pictures of how the world should be ran. It is so odd to try to follow Jesus because in following Jesus, we live in the fringes. We live in a place that both is socially aware but also has very clear ethical mandates. It's this way that we will find truth, that we will find life, and we will find purpose. If you are facing mountains that seem immovable, remember that he moves mountains. If you're facing a valley that seems too dark, remember that he is the light of the world. May you go in the hope of the resurrection as Easter people.
Because the lie works because there's some truth in there. In and of myself, I am unworthy of this table. But because of Jesus, I am clothed in his righteousness.